I am so excited to be here. My name is Talaya Thomas, and I'm currently in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, as I join you here for this incredible conference that is about supporting the mental wellness of all of us. And it's about meeting ourselves with love and compassion in the midst of it all. And I really feel like it's a great time to learn that, We've got time. A lot of us are have more time to ourselves than we've had in a long time. And so going back and learning these lessons that I wish I had learned at a really young age. How do we love ourselves? How do we support ourselves? How do we not judge ourselves? For me, one of the greatest tools that it's been to discover that has been yoga. And it was, yoga literally changed my life. I had been working at a job for like a hedge fund for a lot of years, and it was great. It supported me when I needed it the most. I was a single mom living in Steamboat. It allowed me to send my daughter to private school. It afforded me a lot. But then there just came this moment when it just wasn't working anymore, and I saw my life kind of falling down around me. And I had a 2-year-old son at the time, actually not even 2, probably 9 months at the time, and I had this decision to make about what I did with the amount of money that I had left and all these different things. And I'd been doing physical fitness my whole life, and I decided yoga in Boulder, Colorado. I was in Steamboat and driving back and forth to Boulder, taking yoga classes, doing yoga teacher training. And I remember the first time I walked into that yoga teacher training, and I sat down, and they handed us these notebooks, these books, like all in our little binders, and we're sitting there, and the yoga teacher said, that my teacher at the time, she said, okay, let's get ready to round robin read. And I was like, oh no, like I can't read. I don't want to be reading in front of these people. I'm 37 years old and like terrified to read in front of people, because an experience I had when I was in 4th grade in Boulder at school, where my mom had switched me to a brand new school. I went to this one school. It was called Uni Hill University, and it was English and Spanish classes and multicultural, very culturally rich. It was a very culturally rich school. And she moved me into this extremely white, affluent school, and we were sitting in desks. I never sat in a desk before. And on the first day, not only was I sitting in a desk, but I was sitting next to this really cute guy. I totally had a crush on him. I was like, oh, he's so cute. And I went up to my teacher, and I was like, hey, I feel uncomfortable reading out loud. I feel uncomfortable reading in front of people. Can you not call on me? I went back to my seat, and of course, she calls on me. And I just remember freaking out, sweating profusely. My daughter tells me not to tell this part, but I literally peed my pants a little bit. I had to run out of the room crying. Because when I read every word wrong. My eyes went blurry, and I felt like I was being made fun of by all the kids in my class, being the only Black student as well. And so I ran out of class, and I never read in front of people ever again. Like, that was it. I was like, I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I'm not reading. This is not a thing. So back to that first yoga teacher training where I'm sitting down, and here's this book, and I'm like round robin reading. Every single time it came around to me, I found an excuse. I was like, I'm out of here. Went to the bathroom. I've got to call my mom. She has my son. He's crying. I'm getting a phone call. Repeatedly created these excuses to avoid this, at the time I thought was a really core wound. And then it got to this point where I was like, this is awkward. It's weird. Can I give myself a chance? So I sat with it, and I went around. I remember the day I made that decision that I was going to read in front of this group of people. And it was like embodying that girl again. Like, little girl was right with me, like, okay, we're going to do this. We get a second shot. And I remember it coming around to me, and I'd been reading my spot over and over again, and I read it. I breathed first. The first thing I did, though, was I acknowledged my breath. And I took some deep breaths, and I breathed in, and I breathed out. And I read, and it was horrible. Like, I stuttered. It was just a mess. And I looked up, and no one said anything. And I was like, okay. And I did it again, and I did it again, and I did it again. And until I realized, like, wow, not only am I a really good reader, but I like reading in front of everybody, and I actually want to be the one who reads because all the rest of y'all are boring. And so I read, and I became this really incredible student, and I just fell in love with yoga because what yoga taught me was that something that I thought was a core wound, like was just definitely this thing in me, was an agreement that I made with myself. I actually could read really well, and I'm a great learner. Yoga gave me back a part of myself that had been taken away, and it continued to do that. It continued to make me feel better about who I am and accept myself. And it was through the breath that I really started to learn that. And so what I want to do with you guys today, my name is Talaya Thomas. I'm not sure if I remembered if I introduced myself because I love talking about yoga so much. And yoga, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but this is my home. It's a little mobile home, and I don't have a lot of space. And I want to teach people that yoga meets you exactly where you are. Doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter how many times you've done it. It doesn't matter if you're in a chair. It doesn't matter where you are on the planet. Like, yoga doesn't care what's in your bank account. Yoga meets you right where you are. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to meet wherever you are. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be this perfect environment. Find a place that you feel the most comfortable. Grab a seat. We're going to be in a seated position, and we're going to first work through some breath. That's going to take us into some movement. That's going to take us into learning a little bit about our skin and what our skin does. The skin that we're in this skin bag. So let's learn about what that skin is and what it can do for us. So if you want to join me, I'm ready. I'm going to sit here and let you guys, gather your surroundings after that little story I told you. And then when you're ready, go ahead and just relax into your skin, into your body. Start to begin to notice your breath. Notice how you're breathing. Notice what you're breathing with. I have this great teacher, Peter Sterios, and I love the way he talks about the breath. He talks about noticing the texture of your breath, the sound of your breath, noticing where you may stumble over your breath, and then seeing if you can smooth out the stumble, softening your breath. And as we're breathing together and discovering this breath that we have, this beautiful, beautiful breath, this life force breath, seal the lips softly. So allow your lips to be closed. As I teach breath work, I also like to teach about kind of like, why do we breathe through our nose? Well, it's because our nose has 4 filters. So when you're breathing in through your nose, you're filtering the oxygen, the air, the prana, the wind, right? We're creating wind as we breathe in through our nose that comes in through the nose. And it works with your respiratory system. Your nose works with your respiratory system, where your mouth works with your digestive system. So if we can just sit with that for a moment and just realize that, breathing in through your nose brings in clean oxygen. And as you're playing with the texture of your breath and you're thinking about the cleanliness of your breath as you breathe in and out of your nose, can we relax our bodies, our shoulders? Can we let them soften on every exhale? And wherever you are, as you're breathing, can you take a moment to listen into your surroundings? What sounds do you hear in the distance? I'm in my mobile home, my little RV, and I hear cars passing. I hear birds chirping. I hear my mouth and the inside of my mouth as I'm talking or swallowing. And I'd like you to take on the perspective or wonder about what sound tells you as you're breathing. Sound is information, and for me right now, it's telling me the distance of things. Like the sound of my mouth, that's like really near. It's inside of me. It's a sound that is made from inside, which sounds different than for me the car passing down the street, which is telling me about the distance. It's giving me a location. I'm hearing birds, and it's telling me that it's still warm outside. It's still spring, summer, by the way the bird is chirping. Notice your surroundings and the information that the sound is giving you. And at the same time, connect to your breath, breathing in and out of your nose. Feeling the texture of your breath, the warmth of your breath, the softness of your breath. What are you feeling in your body right now? What sensations are arising? And just be aware. What information is it telling you? I myself am feeling a little bit of restriction around my heart. So I'm going to take my breath and I'm going to inhale into my heart space. And then as I exhale, I'm going to soften that space around my heart. What are you feeling in your body? Where do you feel resistance or activation? And can you inhale into that space on your body that might be speaking to you, feeding you with information? And as you exhale, can you soften that space? Again, navigating your body, feeling your body, the sensations that are coming up with your inhale and softening as you exhale. A few more rounds of breath like that, just using your breath to help you release places in your physical body. And then slowly, slowly, slowly blinking your eyes open. Hi, how does everyone feel? I hope you feel well. I hope you feel relaxed and connected. And that's one thing, that's yoga. Yoga is connecting you. It's connecting you to the information that your body is telling you with your breath, getting presence inside of your skin and listening to it all, bringing it all in. Even like, I like to talk about like when I'm feeling anger or whatever, like even bringing that in and just being like, hey, you want a cookie? Like, it's okay. It's okay to feel all the feelings and then bring breath to all the feelings. And it really helps to relax you in your space. Another cool thing that I have learned from yoga is how to navigate through my body. And at first it was like, navigating through my body, through my physical yoga practice was really physical. It was really like doing lots of push-ups and the chaturangas and really like fast vinyasa. And that was how I first started to navigate learning being in my body through a physical yoga practice. And then over time, it's become more subtle, and I've learned to kind of play with it more. And what I'm learning now is I'm really learning about the yoga of my skin, the movement of my skin. So, and what I mean by that is, every part of our body, from our minds to our breath to the blood flowing through us, has movement, can move, can do something. And so can your skin. I don't know if we often think about how our skin moves. So this is the movement piece of class that I want to really share with you guys today, is how our skin can really help us to move into ourselves more, to settle into ourselves more. So do you guys know, like, has anybody ever made a sausage where you have the skin, the outer skin, and there's like a sausage machine, and you attach the skin to the machine, and then you put the meat in the top and it grinds? And then as it grinds, what happens is it starts to make the sausage, right? The meat, the tissue, all goes into the sausage. And what stretches is not the stuff you're putting in, but the skin. The skin stretches to give space to the sausage for all of that inner stuff to move into. So when I like to talk about doing yoga and practicing the physical practice, I do a lot of practice with my skin and allow everything else to kind of move into that space. So for everybody out there who's watching, if you want to play around with me and play with our skin, let's just get a little physical inside of our bodies. What I want you to do is to slowly start to just reach your arms above your head. And I'm sorry you can't see my hands, but they're up there, I promise. So reach your arms above your head and just start stretching from side to side. Just stretch, just move. We're just starting to move our bodies. Maybe twist, maybe roll your head, play with your fingers, stretch your arms out. I'm like reaching out to grab you guys because I miss people. Do you guys miss people? So stretch out and say hi. And then stretch back in, stretch them out to the side. Maybe make some circles with your shoulders, forward and back. And just kind of wind it around. And then when you're ready, I want you to take your right arm or left arm, whatever side moves the best for you or doesn't move the best for you, whichever one you choose, and reach it up towards the sky. And then this is your nice long side body here. I want you to imagine from your hip crease that this layer of skin stretches up. And then go ahead all the way up through the arm. See if you can go ahead and let the skin stretch all the way up through the finger. And I don't know if you can visually see me, but really what just happened is my arm got longer. Just by the idea of the subtlety of stretching my skin. What that does is it gives an opportunity for the bones to settle into the joint, right, to really settle heavy into the joint, so into my shoulder joint. I can really drop my bones down while not feeling like I'm overstretching. What tends to happen is we stretch our shoulder up towards our ear. And I can get that same length by activating the stretch of my skin, and I can allow my bones to drop down. And that really gives me a lot of space and freedom to move. Do you guys feel that? Yeah. Try it on the other side. So again, shake it all out, like move the body. And then when you're ready, go ahead and reach the other arm up. Whichever arm you chose, you can play with it, you can twist it, you can kind of have some fun with it. And then again, from the hip crease all the way down, allow the skin, it's a really subtle shift, allow the skin to stretch up, all the way up through the arm. You feel that? It's nice. And then if you can allow the inside arm skin to stretch, and then maybe just all the skin around the arm stretches up. You can allow that shoulder to drop down and just kind of settle heavy into the socket. And just create so much freedom and space. And it's amazing. And then maybe from there, you take a little bend over to the side. Stretch the skin over to the side. And get a nice side bend. And then switching sides. Up and over. I have a prop here to help me. Stretching up through the skin, through the side body. And then slowly lowering back down. Same thing out in front of you. Just wherever your arms naturally reside them there. And then think about stretching the skin of the arms forward. And see what kind of length you get. And then stretch back. Bringing your hands to heart center. And just pausing, hanging out, pausing, breathing. Going back to that breath, that really beautiful, soft breath. Breathing in through your nose, breathing out of your nose, and taking in information. Yoga really does meet you wherever you're at. Yoga is accessible to everyone. Yoga is free. Yoga is finding a space wherever you're at to connect with where you are, who you are in present moment. You absolutely do not need a fancy yoga mat. You absolutely do not need a fancy yoga studio. You absolutely do not need to pay $20 to take a yoga class. Yoga is free. And kind of like when I started, we have a lot of time right now and a lot of opportunity to really cultivate a relationship with these things that are free to us, learning how to love ourselves. This is free. Love is not something that we need to pay for, right? But it is not something that we often learn. Learning to have compassion for ourselves. Learning to, be vulnerable, to ask for help. These are all practices of yoga. Learning how our bodies work and move. Learning that we have the opportunity to control our breath and our breath can heal us. This is all yoga. And it doesn't cost a thing. And you don't have to be anywhere special. You can be right where you are. Yoga meets you right where you are at all times. And that has been the most powerful thing that I've learned. So I am so grateful for this opportunity to be here with you guys today. I'm so grateful that you played with me through a little breath work, through a little movement of our bodies, through letting me and allowing me to share a bit of my story and a bit about myself with you. I'm really grateful for that experience. And I hope you have a great rest of your conference today, being inspired by all of these inspiring women. It's really, really an honor to be a part of a culturally rich community. Namaste.